Garden in just a bit. Well, these people already got Rutgers and West Virginia here on Championship Week. The Big East first round coming your way in just a little bit. Big East and Georgetown followed suit. Now West Virginia and Rutgers getting ready to do battle. We'll see you back at halftime again. Dan Schill and Bill Raftery at the Garden.
In a building which has seen as much basketball history as any in the country. Going to make a little bit more here today as the Big East Championship continues with West Virginia taking on Rutgers. Two games down and a whole bunch to go here at the AT&T Big East Championship. Championship Week presented by 7-Up continues. We've got Rutgers against West Virginia. The Mountaineers, ranked number 22 in the country, have already beaten the Scarlet Knights once this season by a score of 80-72. What has happened so far here in New York City? Well, in Game 1, Providence defeated Notre Dame to earn the right, if you will, to face UConn in the second round. Georgetown with the upset out of Miami, which may have knocked Miami right out of NCAA tournament contention. If Rutgers is to play well, their heart and soul, their leader, Jeff Billett, has to have an awfully big game. He can shoot it. He can penetrate it. He can do a lot of different things. But for Rutgers, it's a tough one today. Dan Schulman and Bill Raftery with you. This West Virginia team is awfully good, and they've got one of the best all-round players around in Damian Owens.
Damian Owens can hurt you in so many ways. He's very active. He can rebound. He flashes against zones. He understands how to play with his back to the basket, yet he can face up. He can handle. Very confident performer. Strong finisher. They have a lot of good people, but when he plays well, this is a very tough out, West Virginia.
And on top of all that, he's third in the country in steals, and yesterday was named the Big East Defensive Player of the Year. West Virginia starts 5 seniors. They are looking for a little momentum heading to the NCAA tournament already with 22 wins in their back pockets. The Mountaineers and the Scarlet Knights coming up.
ESPN's presentation of Championship Week is presented by 7-Up. 7-Up and your local 7-Up bottler invite you to try the crisp new taste of 7-Up. And in part by AT&T. It's all within your reach.
And welcome back inside the Madison Square Garden for continuing coverage of Championship Week presented by 7-Up. This is the AT&T Big East Championship first round action between Rutgers and West Virginia. Starting lineups presented by AT&T. First for Rutgers, the number 12 seed in this tournament. Rob Hodgson is as fundamentally sound a player as you will find in the conference, although he's coming off a very tough final regular season game. Only 3 points, didn't hit a field goal. Kevin Bannon, New Jersey through and through as a player, as a coach at Trenton State, then a Rider, now at Rutgers, and looks like he's putting the Scarlet Knights back on the map. For West Virginia, as we mentioned, they start 5 seniors. Brian Lewin lost his starting job midway through the season, but kept at it, got back in there, and he can be a real force. When he is on, he is a load to handle. Gail Catlett has a ton of experience, and what he has this year that he didn't seem to have as much of last year, Bill, is chemistry.
Well, they got a feel for one of you. Mentioned the understanding as seniors how to get the job done. Solid defensively. They can play full court, different pressure points. So good leadership in the backcourt by Jared West as well.
And the Rutgers Scarlet Knights wearing their special black uniforms to begin.
And West Virginia goes man-to-man. Little help on the post.
And knocked out of bounds by Lewin. He's got a huge size advantage over Eric Clark. Clark with some better foot speed, probably. Just 6'8", 205, play in the middle.
And Clark, one of those guys you really enjoy working. Knows how to post up. He can finish just a little bit. It's going to help this outside shooting Rutgers team.
One thing to keep an eye on with Rutgers, Jeff Greer, freshman from the Bronx, playing on a bad left foot, was questionable to start this game.
He says he's okay because it's New York. How about Billett? He doesn't get you deep. Puts it on the floor and creates for others. They've had a nice year when you consider the real solid wins. They've been hanging tough in a lot of games. You can see Clark. He understands how to dive through a hole, get himself in position to finish. Little kiss at the end, all because of Billett.
Eric Clark at the line. 3-0 Rutgers. All 5 Rutgers scores score in double figures. That's a luxury few teams have.
Rutgers is a little man as well.
Jared West at the point, one of the underrated players in this conference. The man to watch is Damian Owens. There he is. Playing with a bad back off to Solheim, who banks it in.
How about that? Great looking shot, but all because of a little screen and dive to the box by Owens.
Earl Johnson pushing it the other way, right through the hands of Clark on a bullet pass.
Tough as he goes to. He's important for this Rutgers team. He plays solid. They get a lot of things done. That was a tough catch, as Kevin Bannon would attest to.
As a freshman last year, Johnson hit a game-winning shot at the buzzer in Morgantown as Rutgers beat West Virginia. It's an awfully tough place to win. Now West. Owens trying to get open down low. Here's Adrian Pledger, and the left-hander with the unorthodox-looking shot drops it in.
He's a scorer. Strictly a provider. I mean, he's amazing. Of points.
Last year, he led the Big Eastern field goal percentage, which for a guard is almost unheard of. Billett, a little off balance on that one. And look at the rebound by Pledger.
I think Jeff was shocked he was so free. Not good D by West Virginia.
Lewin looking backdoor for Pledger. Now regroups. West sneaks inside. Soft touch.
He is tough. Good field.
There are a lot of good point guards in this conference, but when you hear them discussed, you don't often hear the name of Jared West, and he's pretty solid.
Makes that deep shot as well. Terrific defender. Sets you up with his feet.
Hodgson, he'll take the 3.
I think Lewin underneath, teeing off on Clark. You know, Hodgson was out beyond the NBA 3, and I think players have a difficult time adopting. They see a line, they figure that's the one.
And it is Lewin picking up the foul. Rutgers to inbound.
A little stagger to get Billett another look. Nice pass.
Clark strong to the bucket.
2 assists by Jeff Billett. Not too bad, huh? Nice little dive by Clark. They don't get backward. West Virginia unable to squeeze.
And all 5 points for Rutgers belong to Eric Clark. Yale Catlett's team a year ago, 19 wins. He felt snubbed by the NCAA committee. Talked about it loud and long to anybody who would listen. They've already got 22 wins this year. And Eric Clark's got 7 points, Bill.
He is eating them up with his ability to get free in that lane. Great little pass on the money.
Lewin now trying to muscle his way in off the side of the backboard. Good start here for Rutgers. They have worn these special black uniforms 4 times this year. They beat Temple wearing them at the Apollo. Well, the other 3 were losses, but they brought them out of here as a good luck charm in the Big East tournament.
Well, that's one where they needed a nice solid trip, but drive the gap and kick was really what was called for there. Got a little too deep and kicked it out by Earl Johnson.
1 point lead, Rutgers, 3 minutes in, and a travel on Owens. He is still trying to get back in sync after that back injury cost him a couple of games.
I just happened to watch Greer on that play. He winced defensively. You mentioned the sore foot. It's tough for him to get that freedom. He's good with the never leave the ball, huh?
So you got bad back and bad foot guarding one another on the floor. We'll see who holds up better between Owens and Greer. Tough assignment for Greer when he's healthy.
We'll see if youth will be served, huh? Greer being the younger of the 2.
Freshman against a senior. Owens first team All-Big East, and Greer first team rookie All-Big East. Solheim is the jam. Lewin got it back, and he picked it up like a tennis ball and put it in.
And he kept that left arm out there, too. Yeah, that was like a little pineapple in his hand.
West Virginia back on top by 1.
Solheim's one of those unsung guys, too. Almost finished that one off. Plugs, bangs around, takes a hit.
More national attention this year for having his parents move in with him than for anything he's done on the court, as Johnson knocks home a 3.
I wish my parents were so nice when I was younger.
I don't feel badly for Solheim with his folks moving in with him, but he's got a roommate. Jared West had to live with his roommate's folks for a couple of months. Pledger with the floater baseline. Too strong. Rebound Clark. He's having a big start.
And nothing here. They should eat it. Good job. They let him have the green light.
Billett the miss. Clark the follow. Lewin the rebound.
How about Clark with the effort, too? Run the floor.
Solheim, good catch underneath and uses the left hand.
Beat him down, punish him inside. Shortcoming might be the low post defense.
Solheim with the bucket, and we should, to finish up the story, the reason his parents moved in with him, they moved down to West Virginia to follow his every move, and this is senior season. They've been to every game.
There's a little dive and a screen down for Billett. I should have been there, though.
Clark that time did not make his move to the bucket. Got a good start to this one, already tied at 10. Less than 5 minutes in. Rutgers and West Virginia battling here at MSG.
Staggered bump for Billett, who's going to come around here, and you're going to just see a little inattention to business as Clark screens, and now he gets himself in a nice little dive to the goal, and that ball is there before Lewin can get down and count the change. Excellent play. Billett's had good feel early, good finds.
And Eric Clark taking advantage. Clark already with 7 points in this game. Tied at 10. See how the pace of this game affects Rutgers. West Virginia is much deeper. Rutgers plays these starting 5 a whole lot of minutes, especially Hodgson and Billett. Clark saying it was off the hands of Tom Bynum, who is coming to the game.
I don't think his family would have believed that one, though. Speaking of families moving in. Oh, nice little switch of the zone there, run baseline, and not a good counter by Clark.
Tom Bynum, Marcus Gorey, and Greg Jones all over the game for the Mountaineers. Jones with the ball, instant offense off the bench. Owen slices through, and all 5 starters have already scored for the Mountaineers.
And he didn't have much room either.
Doesn't look like the back's bothering him. He is coming off a 17-point game and a loss to Miami on the weekend. Greer, and maybe the foot's not bothering him anymore.
Well, a little page out of the Willis Reed book in this building, huh? Come limping in.
So many of these players from the New York area, they got to get excited to come play in this tournament.
Well, I think all the kids do, though. Just such a special place that Hudson gets a little reach in for small change. Foul.
Now, coming up Sunday, the culmination of what all this is about, the selection specials. First the men, Chris Fowler, Digger Phelps, Dick Vitale, Quinn Buckner, presented by GTE. Then the women, Robin Roberts, Mimi Griffin, Rebecca Lobo, presented by State Farm. Who's going where and who's not going?
Here's that little matchup. It can be confusing. A lot of pointing, a lot of directing by Rutgers.
Gorey, West for 3.
Solid. He just knows where to be. Step in right at the top of the key.
Pestering Earl Johnson at the other end. Billett averaging about 38 minutes a game. Hodgson with the ball up around 36. It's really a 7-man team, Rutgers, if that.
Nice trap, caused the turnover. Gail Cal is one of the best kept secrets in college basketball. He has been knocking them dead for years. Oh, quickly by Jones, who can light it up fast, though.
He has no conscience, and he says if that first one goes down, he feels hot. First one did not go down today.
How about the second one now? I thought he was going to go up with that one.
Everybody on the floor. Bynum's got it, tie it up, and it's still West Virginia ball. Well, you said he's a well-kept secret. Morgantown isn't exactly New York City. It's pretty well hidden down there.
I went down to Notre Dame. Digger will remember, and Digger had a good team, and Yale came in a little banged up, and just solid performance on the road, and sort of watched him ever after, and always in the hunt, just like last year. Atlantic 10 days, he was a factor. This last year, good inbound. They score on inbounds, and turnover by Solheim, but he got an easy pass from out of bounds. Should have just shot it.
A couple of changes for Rutgers. Hodgson, another NBA distance 3, and that one is well short. And now he's hearing it.
And I'm sure even now he doesn't know exactly where he went. I just see the bench say, don't take any more. Well, you mentioned Jersey's own, Kevin Bannon. He has been magnificent down there. Guys have played hard, competed every night. Stagger double for Jones. They're trying to get him lit up.
Here's Owens. There's Jones.
That's the second one.
And it's a 3. He can shoot them in or out of the game. But one thing you know, he'll be shooting.
And he's got great spin dribble moves, too.
He is the 6th senior on this veteran team. Good D by West on Billett. Hodgson, and a foul committed by Jared West. Didn't like it.
Got to loosen it up. They are pressuring the basketball. Might be able to get a little step and go. But in the meantime, the outside shooting of Jones should certainly help the inside people. Solheim being one of them. But look at this. You mentioned he can light it up and not ashamed of drilling him either, is he?
Jared Kearse, number 33 in the game now for West Virginia.
And they don't bill it. They really get out on him. They get out on him big now with Pledger.
Greer. And contact by Solheim. Number 2 on Brent Solheim. And he seems more upset with himself than with the call. That might buy him some extended bench time. Greer to the line for a couple. Jeff's brother, Carno, plays for Pittsburgh, and both of them made the All-Rookie team in the Big East.
And they counterpunched this year. One had a good game up above and Pitt, and then down at Rutgers. Now, Greer, one of those guys, the first recruit ever for Kevin Bannon, but one of those guys that a lot of people liked and weren't sure, and I think they got themselves a steal. It's up here by Sanders.
Rebound, Sam Sanders into the game. Alvidas Tenise is fouled, and we've seen some flashes from both bench players of Rutgers. Sam Sanders gives them an athlete on the wing, and Alvidas Tenise, after being benched midway through the season, is coming off a 7-for-7 15-point game against Villanova, in which, strangely enough, he only played 13 minutes.
If he works hard this offseason, we'll be seeing Tenise, anyone? He has a big upside. I think a lot was expected. He just wasn't quite ready. I think intensity level, something maybe he's not used to. Paying attention to detail. And they give Greer a little blow. He's sucking it up big time.
Hurt the foot in practice 2 days ago. Tenise misses the first. And misses the second. And Rutgers got it back again. It blocked. Gorey got Hodgson.
Steps, good call.
Boy, Rutgers not doing themselves any favors. Missing free throws, getting the rebound, and then failing to capitalize the second time around. Mountaineers lead by 6. Welcome back to the AT&T Big East Championship. This is a rivalry that goes back a long way. Always good games between these two teams.
And you can see right here, you're not going to get an easy look. West Virginia solid defensively. The rundown on the missed free throw, unfortunately, for West Virginia, but a nice counter. Pretty Kearse with the hustle, a nice presentation as Gorby negated.
Bringing the ball up, Jared Kearse, a freshman who Gail Catlett just loves. Says he saw him dominate Tracy McGrady at an AAU game. McGrady bypassing college, going right to the NBA.
And West out, they give him a little blow. Nice one, they get the ball inside. That's the difference. They'll pound you, get to the foul line, get some easy baskets. But West, we both saw them stretching him out. Looked like his back was bothering him. And they're a different team without Jared on the floor. He's got great leadership qualities, understand exactly where they want the basketball.
Good shooting early.
62%.
Forcing the turnovers. That's West Virginia basketball. They want to get in your face for 40 minutes and force you to make mistakes. Now West looks like he's okay. He's going to come back in.
Yeah, I've got a contest for you. Have a talk-off or talk-a-thon between Gail Catlett and Jim Calhoun as to see who talks quicker, more words per minute.
I take Calhoun in the points any day.
And we'll donate money to the Jimmy V Fund. How's that?
Sounds great. Pledger on the drive.
And they got the
offensive foul.
He came off ready. He's another one of those instant offensive guys, too. He can fill it up. Very confident along with Jones out there.
You're right when you say he's not a shooter. He's a scorer.
Yeah, he is. He hangs around that lane. And they do give the ball up to one another. I think that's what makes this a good basketball team. You see him take him with the dribble, and he knew he's a little peek over the shoulder, and West back in. So that's good news for Mountaineer fans.
Owens back in as well. A couple of bad backs on this West Virginia team. Here's Johnson, got a screen.
And you see West going all the way behind it because they're not afraid of the deep shot by Johnson. Look at the denial. This club can take you out of your offense.
Billett, bounce pass, Johnson, baseline, extra pass, Clark.
And look at the recovery.
Now Johnson for 3.
Good,
and Rutgers gets one.
Good screen by Clark. I mean, that won't show in the box score, but Johnson gets the look because of the big guy.
second three of the game for Earl Johnson. Just a sophomore. Owens, little butterfingers, but he got it back. Now Gorey, he can be tough. Squeezes through and missed the short one.
Well, he had an easy one, a nice strength and step through.
Gorey gives him some great minutes in place of Lewin or alongside Lewin on occasion.
Screen away, screen down. They are active. Remember before we were saying Georgetown doesn't screen, they run by? They'll pin people, West Virginia. It's a different philosophy.
West, Owens.
Oh, goodness. Everybody addresses the dribbler. Back cut.
5-point lead, West Virginia. They're thought of as a team that is great at home but doesn't play all that well outside of Morgantown.
Oh, goodness. That's because of the pressure. Nice play by Philip. Sanders to the chin. But they can be back cut because of that overzealous denial. Here's another one.
Owens. And a rebound Billett. Rutgers with a chance to run, down only 3. Sanders probably the most explosive athlete on the floor. Tenise, offensive foul.
Just a little too much, huh? If you can make that foul line jumper, I'm not so sure that's his range. Another dribble, maybe a pull-up. Kevin with the decision now. Wide open, and now the jump stop, and he should stay there and shoot it instead of leaning forward. But the backside open, and you can just see there, just good execution as Billett finds Sanders.
Tenise out with his second foul. Hodgson back in. They've got to get Hodgson scoring. He scores 13.5 a game. Didn't have a field goal against Villanova on the weekend and hasn't scored yet in this game.
And there's their offense. They duck in after the little shuffle cut.
Great rebound by Sanders. Just 6'4", up with the big guys. Here's Hodgson. Cold early.
They close that lane quickly, don't they?
On the shot clock. Here's Johnson. Clark setting a screen, helped by West. Nice.
Good help, though. Gorey in position to assist.
Ledger baseline. Now Gorey right by Clark, stripped by Hodgson. Here comes Billett. And Billett's going to shoot a couple.
He's got a toughness, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And he really had to fight the dribble all the way down the floor as they kept closing on his right. Johnson trying to bail him out. I just thought this was a great move. You can see Hodgson bails out Rutgers with nice sleight of hand. The counter. Now here's where he's got to fight it off. And now the strength here to get around and still get it up on the glass. The kiss wasn't given any response, but good run by Billett.
Billett, one of 3 80% free throw shooters on this Rutgers team. Bynum and West coming out. West has 2 fouls. Jones and Solheim back in.
Now I know Gail Catlett plays a lot of people, and he gets certain minutes. Bynum only 4 games.
Yeah.
But you get the feeling maybe he's looking ahead.
Looking past Rutgers?
Not necessarily past them. I mean, this is going to be a heck of a game, but just resting people because he knows. And even though the second half, too, he may have to play some people longer. Here's the little match. Yep.
Got a fight on his hands here early. 20-19. West Virginia with a narrow 1-point lead. Owens from the baseline, way long.
They really got it to the short corner nicely.
Johnson putting it on the floor again. Whips it inside for Sanders. And a travel. Rutgers putting up a fight, but they don't quite have their finishing touchdown yet. A frustrated Kevin Abannon down by 1.
West Virginia's execution, Dan Shulman, and what they do is they keep very active. They'll run some things here. They'll get replacements, and it's all setting something up on a strong side with an overload. Ball reversal to the top, and now as the defense addresses itself, nice read here, and obviously West gets in the lane for the dump. And this is good, solid basketball. I wish I could draw better, and we could all enjoy it. Nice look. And then the deuce.
Well, many of them have played together for so long, although some of them are junior college transfers. But this group knows each other very, very well. They lost Gordon Malone from last year's team. But when you start 5 seniors, you've got something only a handful of teams in the country have.
They forced West Virginia a little hurry against the matchup zone. That's how a little 1-3-1 look.
Johnson again pushing it. He has forced the issue today. Wave it off.
Airborne, you're dead. You can almost see that occurring at the foul line, did you? And all the Rutgers fans, and there are a few here, kept abandoned good composure. A little crossover. Oh, he's there a long time. There's absolutely no question about it. I think judgment had to prevail there. The big thing now for West Virginia is how they attack the setup at the other end. They match up nicely. They'll blend to what you're running, or at least your offensive sets. And I think you can reverse the ball, go short corner, go diagonal to the elbow or foul line.
All in the hands of West. He's got Jones with him in the backcourt. Solheim, Owens, and Bynum back in the game again up front.
Now here's the overload, the down and through. Solheim dumps, he goes through, roll the post. Look at this, pretty basketball. Not bad, huh?
So Gale draws it up on the blackboard a little bit better than you do on the telescope.
Well, he sure does. Then he strolls, you know. I never had a chance to stroll in a cocky fashion.
22-19 Mountaineers.
And he's down there in the corner.
West Virginia didn't exactly storm home at the end of the season as Johnson gets over to bring it back within 1. The Mountaineers lost their last 2 and 3 of their last 4, so they need to think about putting it in gear for the tournament.
Nice
save by Owens.
Yeah, Solheim thought he was going.
Jones. Loose ball. And it's Rutgers. Coming up later tonight on ESPN, the AT&T Big East Championship will continue with Boston College and Seton Hall, 9:30 Eastern at 6:30 Pacific from the Garden. Seton Hall under Tommy Amaker putting together a terrific season. The Eagles going to be dangerous with Granger and Woodward. Hodgson short again.
Yeah, Seton Hall phenomenal, by the way. Hodgson that time at least by the collegiate 19 and change.
Owens on the drive. Battling underneath. Bynum lost the handle. Here comes Rutgers, Bill, with a chance to take the lead. They are not intimidated.
Well, they will fight you. Nice cross court, a little short here. When they get them, put pressure on you, don't they?
Jones, tough 3. And rebound Clark.
Look at this pass. What a play by Billett. Well, he said, Coach, get it to the point guard, no matter where he is on the floor.
They're trying to get him open at the other end. West is quick, though. Solheim to help. Billett sneaks inside. The follow no good by Clark, and Hodgson has it.
And that's their season right there, the way they scrap Rutgers. Good job. Boy, they went for that one, Dan.
Earl Johnson gives the Scarlet Knights a 2-point lead. Gail Catlin wants timeout. Like you said, they are in every game. They're getting a little bit tired of moral victories, which turn out to be losses in the standings, but they are dangerous every time they play.
Before the game, I spoke to Danny Hurley, and he's very fond of Jeff Billett, and he said that they have a good feeling about this game today. They have not backed it off at all. And earlier we talked about Billett's strength, that he can elevate amongst the big guys. I mean, this is gets it up, and watch Clark now. Unbelievable effort. And then the scrappy play ends up with a deep look. And if Earl Johnson plays well, it gives them a lot more options. Solid play that time by Earl. The knockdown, 45% from the 2-point range, 11 points a game. They can use his addition.
Scores from other tournaments around the country. Earl Johnson 4 for 4 from the field, including 3 threes. He's got 11 points. Jeff Greer back in for Sam Sanders.
Flash, turn the opposite.
Tough pass. Owens has to go get it. Tried to save it, and he does. Rory's trapped.
You said he had a pass to the corner.
Jones puts it up and hits. Greg Jones, 2 more.
Wild sequence. Draw that one up there.
Greer left open and passed it up.
I think just into the game, it's a little tough. Now he's ready. And they got a post problem down below. Clark and Bynum.
Now we talked a little bit about Gail Catlett's Mountaineers not exactly rushing to the finish line. They were off to a great start this season. 500 team though in February.
Well, that's when the league has seen you a few times. You've been around. Tapes are available. Kids start to think it's them, but maybe not paying attention. A lot of things go into that swoon at the end, and a lot of people had to play them that needed games too to stay alive themselves.
And the Damian Owens injury a factor as well, obviously. First team All Big East performer. You know, Gail Catlett's funny. When they played St. John's, they didn't play here. They played at Alumni Hall. Catlett upset about that, saying doesn't West Virginia garner enough attention and deserve enough respect that they should play in the big building?
Any edge the coach will take. And rightfully so.
He's been around. He's got better than 500 wins. One of 4 coaches in this conference who can say that. Jones again, way off. And it's out of bounds to Rutgers.
And Jones better start perking. And I just see a little yank right now. I'm not so sure it's going to be great going out. You know, the man-to-man defense is something Kevin Bannon has espoused all his coaching career, and they're starting to play it pretty good for him the second stages of this season.
Greg Jones, by the way, just 2 of 7 from the floor. Pledger getting set to check in.
Good kick back.
And Billett, there was contact, no call. Billett just trying to avoid getting crushed. Eric Clark inside, 2 more.
Clark gets the right spots.
He's already at his season average with 10. West gets by Billett, lost the handle inside. Rutgers has it again. Great performance by the Scarlet Knights of the first half. Billett got it.
Oh, boy, I thought he was hesitating, but he's sort of freezing the defender. He's the one guy that green light in the open floor takes advantage of it.
Biggest lead of the game for the underdog. Finding the lob inside. Tough one for Owens, who has spent much of this game just saving balls from going out of bounds at the baseline.
Here's the shuffle cut, the weak side duck in. Is he going to get this guy set up?
15-4 run for Rutgers. Jones, another floater. Another one way off. Numbers for Rutgers.
Took a while to get it to him.
Billett, tough one underneath. Fine in the back to help out.
Greer should have given it up earlier. Out at half court and then let Billett make the decision. Little inexperience on that trip. Sometimes you want to keep it and make the real nice plays. It's just a good play.
Owens just 4 points in this game. West for 3. Owens keeps it alive again. Here's Jones.
He's going to get his before he comes out. I'll tell you.
2 for 9 now from the floor. Underneath, the putback by Gorey, a little short. Tie it up. Rutgers ball. Timeout on the floor. And the Scarlet Knights have brought some fans with them from Jersey, and that has helped Rutgers to a 6-point lead over the big-time favorite of West Virginia. 2:18 to play in the half. They're getting it outside, and they're getting it inside. Eric Clark with a big half, already 10 points.
Reese Davis with your Conference USA Tournament. Southern Mississippi already with 20 wins, hoping to pad their resume and make it into the NCAA. Good ball movement against Houston there. Daryl Jones dunked it, and Chad Hendrick got caught with an elbow afterwards. And Southern Mississippi a lead in that game. In the A-10 at the final now. UMass has moved on to face George Washington in that tournament. Jack?
Reese, thank you. Those Minutemen, a tournament tough team with the kind of schedule that they play during the season. Boozer Flint has himself a good group.
He's gone all over the country to play. A little zone, calm Rutgers down a little bit. You got to identify the shooters on the wings.
Billett was open for a moment. Hodgson. Johnson rather missed, and the rebound to Gorey. Can West Virginia get on track before the break? Look how they have struggled.
And that was one where Johnson maybe had a little dish to Billett at the end.
West putting the heat on the Billett. Missed the shot. Hodgson the rebound. Looking to get out in transition.
Good use of the floor.
Greer for 3. Loose ball and a foul going against Rutgers.
Should be Greer. know they're going to give it to Clark, but I thought Greer's the one that started it. I say started, went after it, gave a little shove.
Got another new face in the game for West Virginia, Elton Scott, 6'6" junior out of Lebanon, Kentucky. Bill Catlett, maybe you're right. Maybe he's seeing what he has, trying to size up his own team heading into postseason.
Well, I think you know by now. Well, they finally get it in low. That's when they got to stay at home. Let the power game take over.
Marcus Gorey with the 2.
I just think they have enough people down low here. Gorey, one of those guys. Lewin, another one. Bynum, another. Directly to the proper hand. Dictates which way to turn. Little pump, and everybody's scraping.
Second foul on Clark. Gorey at the line. Mid-season, Brian Lewin. His work habits started to slack off a little bit in the opinion of Gail Catlett. Gorey started a couple games and played so well it looked like Lewin might get lost. Lewin worked hard, got back in the starting lineup, and now Gorey's coming off the bench again. Clark with a terrific move on Bynum.
How about the ball fake? Thought he was going back outside. The big fella to the tin. Oh, was that pretty? That's a guard kind of a move, or a small forward, the way he faked out.
A dozen for Eric Clark. And when you think about offense from Rutgers, he's not the first guy who comes to mind.
Oh, they got to give it up.
Johnson. And West Virginia ball. Rutgers missed out on an opportunity to pad their lead.
Now, there's another case of the open floor. Greer had a direct pass to Billick. If he had given it up right about the half court, then he kept the extra dribble, and then he found Johnson. There's Danny Hurley checking it out. He could give it up with the best of them. Jimmy Carr alongside him. A lot of Jersey guys about. And there's that play where they pushed it left. Oh, my goodness, what a great understanding there. You don't expect big guys to make that. Greer in the air, the ball fake, and the big guy finish it off.
Coming up on the 7-Up halftime report with Reese, Dick, and Digger, a look at the Latrell Sprewell decision handed down today. Highlights of the first 2 games preceding this one of the Big East Championship, and then updates from around the nation, the 8-10 Conference USA and others going on. Already Eric Clark above his season average. Great first half for him. 5 rebounds as well.
They go little zone look here. Let's see. No. I think it's a straight up man-to-man.
And about a 4-second difference, Bill, so Jared West will milk the clock.
And Rutgers is going to have to concentrate on rebounding. In order West Virginia to take it late and crash the glass.
There's Scott, doesn't play often. 5 on the shot clock. Gorey spinning again. Tipped up, no.
Oh, and there's one over the top, Bynum off. That's one thing you didn't want. Ooh.
Free shot for Rutgers at the other end. 1-1. Teaching?
Yeah, I'm sure. Say why. You know, just giving them a chance. A few years ago wouldn't have been that calm, I'm sure, that kind of delivery, but that's what the life on the Pines does to you. You do get some composure.
And at the line, Eric Clark with a chance to pad the lead. What a first half for Rutgers. You can tell Kevin Bannon, he's going to the break with at least a 5-point lead. He's a happy guy.
He'd sprint off the floor. And they're going to be alert now. West Virginia will probably try and get it to half court. Got a chance to take a bounce, maybe 2, believe it or not. Little Alonzo Mourning there in the Lidwood style. Why not if you make them?
14 for Clark. And West Virginia answer with 2.2 seconds left. West from midcourt. And a big first half for the Jersey team and the Jersey guy, Kevin Bannon and the Scarlet Knights, wearing those special black uniforms with a 7-point lead over heavily favored West Virginia. Let's go back for more in the studio. The halftime report. Here's Reese Davis.
All right, Dan, thank you very much. And some terrific shooting from Billin as Rutgers on top of West Virginia. Coming up on the 7-Up halftime report, Dick Vitale, Digger Phelps, I'm Reese Davis. Well, earlier this afternoon in the Big East, Miami sitting square.
ESPN's presentation of Championship Week is brought to you by AT&T. It's all within your reach.
7 of the AT&T Big East Championship. We've got a bit of a surprise going here. At halftime, Rutgers leading West Virginia 34-27. Rob Hodgson did score a point. How are the Scarlet Knights winning this game?
Well, I just think sound basketball defensively. They've got West Virginia a little bit out of sync, and they're making some shots. I think it's very important. Giving the basketball up to one another. Solid performance. The pass, Billett, Clark, and how about this? The kick out. Hodgson finds Johnson, and there's a little freeze here by an outstanding, some nights unerring shooter. And how about that little linger with the limp wrist?
West Virginia shoots 46% from the floor during the season, only 35 today. They haven't gotten to the line much, and they went ice cold the last half of the first half, missing 16 of their last 19 shots. You talked about Gail Catlett maybe experimenting a little bit, playing a lot of different